So the report before you reflects the preliminary 2023 unaudited year-end results for both the general operating fund and the utility fund, prepared on a modified accrual cash basis of accounting, which is consistent with how the city's budget's prepared. The general operating fund year-end results reflect a year-end deficit of 2.7 million, or a 0.5% variance from budget. Increased operating costs primarily related to winter road maintenance, emergency shelter and related expenses. The Regina Exhibition Association Limited's increased interest costs due to interest costs increased on a portion of their debt that council committed to fund when the debt was approved. And these increased expenses were partially offset by increased investment income. And these were kind of the major factors affecting the deficit. The year-end operating deficit in this report varies from the report that was publicly released on Friday, where a surplus of 1.7 million was projected for the year. And this change was due to an error that was discovered after the report was released on Friday, relating to the allowance for doubtful accounts not having been set up properly, which had an impact of 4.4 million on the operating results, moving from a surplus position of 1.7 in the original report to a deficit position of 2.7 in the report before you. Under the Cities Act, the city must balance its budget, and as a result, administration is recommending the deficit be funded from the general fund reserve. This is projected to decrease the general fund reserve's 2023 year-end balance to an uncommitted balance of 15.8 million compared to its recommended minimum level of 23 million. With respect to the general utility operating fund, the year-end results reflect a surplus of 4.1 million, or a 2.5% positive variance. This variance is the net of increased water sales, partially offset by increased costs due to materials and contracted services, and those expenses were also partially offset by salary lag. And pursuant to the Regina Administration Bylaw, this surplus is transferred to the General Utility Reserve unless Council directs otherwise. There are a number of other matters highlighted in the report, two of which I will mention in my opening remarks. The report also notes a matter relating to costs Riel incurred to support the work of the Catalyst Committee in the amount of $230,000. The committee's terms of reference required the committee to develop a budget and have it approved by council. As no budget was provided by the committee or approved by council, administration requires council's approval to pay Riel for expenditures it incurred on behalf of the committee. As the work of the committee was for the benefit of the city, not the Regina Exhibition Association Limited, administration is recommending paying Riel for these expenditures funded from the general fund reserve. And this would result in the operating deficit increasing by an additional 230,000, and the general fund reserve decreasing by the same amount.